So in today's video I wanted to talk about a technique and harmonic device that's used by a lot of my favorite jazz and fusion players and just great improvising musicians in general. And that's an idea that I call stacked arpeggios. And now what a stacked arpeggio is you combine two 7th chord arpeggios to kind of express a bigger harmonic picture. In today's video we're going to focus on applying this to major chords and how we can imply major 9 chords rather than just a normal major 7. So the biggest problem that this kind of alleviates for any of you who've dabbled in improvising with jazz harmony or anything like that is that we often play these big long arpeggios, which are wonderful. I'm a huge fan of knowing your arpeggios all the way up and down the neck. But the problem that we can sometimes run into is if I have a bar of G major 7 and all I do is play, it can almost get a little bit stale sounding just because I'm only playing notes from G major 7, which again, over G major 7 is a good sound, but there isn't as much harmonic interest, and especially if it just keeps going in one direction every time as that G major 7, it can sound a little bit stale and boring. And stacked arpeggios are something that can help alleviate that. So, in a stacked arpeggio for a major 7 chord, what we would do, and let's use G major 7 as our example, we would play one octave of G major 7, so we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, or root 3rd, 5th, 7th, and that's this shape, so 3 on the E string, 2 on the A string, 5 on the A string, and then 4 on the D string. Then I'm going to double back to the 3rd of the scale, or 3rd of the arpeggio, and I'm going to play a B minor 7 arpeggio. So that's B, D, F sharp, and A, or 2, 5, 4, 2 on the G string. And now the sound that's really cool about this is that all of the notes over B minor 7 work over a G major 7 chord. So just to prove that, let me sustain this G major 7. If I go, those all sound like good notes because a B minor 7 arpeggio contains the notes, if we were to count them against G, we have the 3rd, we have the 5th, we have the 7th, and we have the 9th, or the 2nd of the scale. So the thing that's cool about stacking these arpeggios is you're using still rudimentary 7th arpeggios, but you're using two different ones to create a more interesting flavor in your playing. So what could sound like this can sound like this. Where to me, that second example is a little bit more interesting to listen to because we can hear these different kind of, even though they're related sounds, there's some more interesting movement in it than just saying G major 7, G major 7, G major 7 forever. So major chords will always have a minor chord, major 7 chords will always have a minor 7 as their upper structure or their stacked arpeggio. So let's say, for example, if we were doing it in C, I'll use all the same shapes that I was using. I encourage you to explore them in all 5 shapes up and down the neck in all keys. But to keep things straightforward for this demonstration, if we start in the key of C, we would have C major 7. So it's the same shapes, but now my frets are 8, 7, 10, 9. C major 7 will have an E minor 7 on top of it. So that would go 7, 10, 9, 7. And it would sound like this. And you get this really cool effect where you're doubling back on the chords. So, and I also am a big fan of practicing them on the way down too. It's a really cool sound if you were to start on the stacked arpeggio, the minor 7 descending, so that would be. And these can be really, really powerful, beautiful sounds to pull on when you're improvising because it pulls you kind of out of the sameness of only playing the major 7 or only playing the chord that you're on. It lets you add a little bit more intrigue and interest. So let's do this. That was G, we did it in C. Now let's do it in one more key. Let's say we do it in B flat. So again, I'm going to use the same fingerings here, but now it's 6, 5, 8, 7. And then it's going to have a D minor 7 upper structure, and that's going to give me 5, 8, 7, 5. So, and again, you can practice this in all registers. So if we were to stay in that same position of B flat major 7 followed by a D minor 7, we would now have, starting on a D string, 8, 7, 6, 5, and then we would get, starting on a G string, 7, 6, 5, 8. So, and in these positions where you have 2 that'll work across all 6 strings, you can get through both arpeggio twice. That can be a really good thing to chain together as well. So then you would get, and again, that's a more interesting line than if I were to play, because you get to hear the drama of these 2 arpeggios kind of working together. And that's a really good way to create these kind of topsy-turvy lines that are kind of turning in on themselves, going away. And that's how it would work on a major 7 chord. And it's a really, really beautiful way to kind of make music with these simple 7th arpeggios. If you aren't familiar with the shapes that I've been using, I do have videos on how to play these major 7 and minor 7 arpeggios on my channel. I also have free diagrams available for download from my website that'll help you out, and they're also in my book that's available for purchase at the link in the description, Scales and Arpeggios for the Modern Guitarist. But I really hope you found this video interesting or useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you can like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you want to support me or the channel, you can either subscribe to my Patreon down below for early access to videos and help me, financially justify putting out all this free educational content. There's also links to purchase my video course on triads or my book on scales and arpeggios. You could also take a guitar lesson with me if you feel so inclined. There's a link to that in the description as well. I've been working with a bunch of you guys who found me through YouTube lately, and it's been a blast connecting with people all over the world. And last but not least, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you're having some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.